Hi, the Unity family, we're back again on the AfricaUnity platform. My name is KingIdris and I'm here to give you guys the new insight on what is going on the ground in Africa and international community. Today, my people, we're back again on the AfricaUnity platform. You know, on this platform, we talk about unity, we talk about togetherness, we talk about oneness, we talk about all the wins for the African children on the ground in Africa, in the diaspora, anywhere around the world. But today we'll be talking about the 3 days visit, the 3 days visitation from the present president of Ghana, President Dramani Mahama, that he goes to AES, the Sahel state in Africa, in West Africa, to have a lot of discussion and for unity, for development of Africa, and mainly for Africa economy. This president have huge discussion about this development because it's one of the people that have been doing a lot for African people even before he became the president of Ghana the first time after the death of Atta Mills, the former president of Ghana, that he became the president of Ghana the first time in 2012. I'm talking about John Dramani Mahama. He's been one of the people that have been working with ECOWAS for the development of Africa in times of peace and unity. So Ghana President John Dramani Mahama went on a 3 days visitation, 3 days visit to the Alliance of Sahel State, AES, with the first stop in Malian capital, Bamako. The visitation that started last Saturday was centered around discussion related to the strengthening bilateral relations among African states, addressing regional security concerns, and fostering mutual economic growth for West African states. So the present president of Ghana has been doing this, supporting and assisting other African countries with the peace and unity through visitation for resolution and for West Africa Economic Commission. 2012, when John Atta Mills died in office, Mahama is the first vice president to assume the presidency following the death of his predecessor, and is the first head of state of Ghana to have been born after Ghana independence in 1957. Also, he was part of the ECOWAS mediation team to resolution the past election political impulse of the former president of Gambia that bring in the president of Gambia that we have today, between the defeated incumbent president Yahya Jammeh and the declared winner the people of Gambia want as their president at the time, Adama Barrow. So Ghana president have been part of the people that have been helping a lot of African states to get peace in their country. So the purpose of this 3 days visitation is all about peace and unity within the territory of EAS, also the territory of Africa, because if the Sahel countries have peace, all African countries have peace. Various territories and insurgent groups including RSSP, Jamaat, Nasrul Islam, Wa Islami, and various separatist groups fighting on northern Mali, such as Asawad movement. The war against this group have been assisted by both French and the United States groups with special assistance from UN peacekeeping. And the only African leader that I would say from the past former Chad leader, the past former Niger leader, the only African leader that will be trying his best to support the Sahel state because they're very close to his country. Burkina Faso is just a border away from Ghana. And Mali is not too far to Ghana. Cote d'Ivoire is just a border away from Ghana.
I want to thank my brother, President of the Transition, President Goita, for the warm welcome we've received since we arrived here. As a brotherly country, everybody knows the historical relations that have existed between Ghana and Mali since the period of our first presidents, Modibo Keita and Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Ghana and Mali have had a very close relationship. And so I came on a friendly visit, and also to thank President Goita for allowing Prime Minister Mega to visit Ghana when I was being inaugurated as president. That was a good sign. It was appreciated by the people of Ghana, and so I came to say thank you. But we also took the opportunity to discuss issues of bilateral cooperation and trade and economic cooperation between our two countries. We know that for a very long time, our countries trade amongst each other. Our people travel freely amongst each other. There's a big Malian population living in Ghana. They are involved in business. They are settled peacefully in Ghana. They're actually citizens of both Ghana and Mali. And so we had the opportunity to discuss how we can make our economic relations even stronger. And we also have a transit corridor. A lot of long-distance drivers, both Malian and Ghanaians, convey goods from our ports to Mali and transport goods from Mali back to our port for export. And so we discussed how we can remove the challenges so that it's easy for these drivers who are involved in the transit of goods to be able to do their work without any problems. And most importantly, we discussed issues of how we can strengthen our defense cooperation in the light of the fight against terrorism, and how Ghana can be of help in terms of cooperating with the Alliance AES in terms of the fight against terrorism, because we all occupy the same sub-region, and terrorism in one country is a threat to all of us. And so we had quite a discussion on how we can strengthen our bilateral relations in terms of the fight against terrorism. And finally, we discussed the revival of the Permanent Joint Commission for Cooperation between Mali and Ghana. The last meeting was in 2011 in Accra, and the next meeting was supposed to take place here, but due to some circumstances it didn't happen. And so we're looking to revive it so that as early as possible we can send our technical team to come and sit with our Malian counterparts and discuss how we can increase and strengthen the cooperation that exists between our two countries. We discussed it, and we recognize that there's been some issues of trust, problems with trust between the two groups. But at the same time, I think that we must establish mutual respect for each other. And I'm sure that if we're able to do that, we can continue to work together. I think that there's a choice that Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger have taken, but that won't be an impediment in us continuing to have our bilateral relations with all those countries. We're brothers, and God put us in this sub-region for a purpose. And so whether we like it or not, we have to live together. And so I think that we must establish a mutual respect between the AES and ECOWAS. And I'm sure that if we're able to build on that respect and trust, should be able to work together. I'm an old face because I've been president before. I've been chairman of ECOWAS before. But again, I'm a new face because I was just elected. And so Ghana is prepared to continue to play the role of a bridge between our two groups, the ECOWAS and the Alliance of Sahelian States. So those were the key things. We're also looking at a possible direct flight from Accra to Ouagadougou at least once a day. There's an airline in Ghana that wants to start that flight. We've discussed the issue of AES and ECOWAS, and I've got new perspectives about the concerns that the three countries have in respect of their relations with ECOWAS.
Sahel states are very close to Ghana, so that's the reason why the 3 days visitation is very, very important to the whole of Africa and West Africa. John Dramani Mahama is one of the face in Africa that is going to bring a lot of unity and development to all African countries because it's well accepted in Nigeria. He lived in Nigeria for a while.
Let me clear a few things first. One, about my Nigerian antecedents. My stepmother is Nigerian, who raised me. She comes from Onepeople State. And so what Kayode was explaining was that at a point in time when there had been a coup in Ghana, my father lived in exile here in Nigeria, and I had to come and stay with my stepmother for many years in Offa. So I know Offa quite well, and I consider that my hometown here in Nigeria. And the Olofa of Offa was very gracious to grant me a chieftaincy title. And so for those of you who don't know, I'm the Are Atolashi of Offa Kingdom. And he told a story about our intervention in Gambia when there had been an election. And
in the western side of Nigeria, in Ilorin, in Akwa State, Ilorin. So he had a lot of ties with Nigerians, and he has already come out to speak about this. So he had a lot of peace and unity with Nigeria. Why? When you have peace and unity with Nigeria, surely you have already have it with Benin Republic and Togo. And now it's taking this energy to Mali, to Niger, to Chad, to Guinea, to Cote d'Ivoire, all the Sahel states. We even had Ethiopia will be joining this. Ethiopia will be joining the Sahel state. The reason why all these states try to form their power and why a lot of African people really support their innovation is because of the growth of African people. We need our own diplomacy, we need our own freedom, and we need to use our own resources for ourselves, for the growth of our country in Africa, which we can easily see the president of Mali do this. All the Sahel presidents, they've been doing this to develop their country in so many ways. Seen President Traoré do a lot to develop his country. Just the little time he came into power, he have made a lot of amendment, have made a lot of growth with the people, have made a lot of peace with the people in his own country. And now they can see the transformation, a lot of innovations that is coming from this brother. He has been doing a lot, and a lot of people have been seeing what is coming from.
Mr. President, there has been a long discussion about how long you will stay and when you will organize elections. How long will the transition last? Is it today? Do you have an answer to this, or do you think it is not a priority? For you, how long will Captain Ibrahim Traoré be in charge before organizing elections to step down?
I was going to ask you a question in return before answering you.
I'm not here to answer questions. Sir.
It's a debate. It's nice. If today, in 6 months, we decided to abandon the people, you, as a very objective man, aware of our situation, what would you say? What would your comment be?
Honestly, I prefer to stick to that, even though you know my true thoughts.
All right. Since we've been here, we haven't taken a single day off. The whole exec.
But when you say that, politicians say, this is our job, since there are those who do it. They do their job. We want to return to democracy. We want to go back to parliament with people who are elected. We want to let the people speak. Are we staying like this or setting up a new model? They learned here. We don't want them learning elsewhere and applying it here.
To put them on the right track. They learned their profession. This profession is... We don't want people to learn this profession elsewhere and come apply it here. We want to create a model.
A lot of people have been seeing the growth that is coming from the younger governors, the younger president that we have in Africa now, from the president of Senegal to all the Sahel state president. They're very, very young. We can see the transformation and the development of Africa. They have the love of Africa in their heart. That's the same way President John Dramani Mahama from Ghana have the love of Africa on his mind, because he has been part of the meditation group of ECOWAS.
There should be a process where people who have been the victims are compensated for the pain that they have gone through. And I fully support him And I believe that the international community should come and help Gambia so that a fund is set up to be able to give reparations to some of these people who have suffered. Ghanaians were involved. As you know, some of our countrymen were killed here in the Gambia. And so we're happy with the process that is going on to establish the truth, investigate what happened, and also to bring people who did that to justice, but also to compensate the victims' families and the victims, those who are alive. And so he has our full support and our full backing. And take advantage of the free movement of people and goods, how we can take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area. We discuss issues of security in the sub-region, including what is happening in the Sahel, and how we can work as a sub-region to make sure that West Africa is a safer place for all our citizens.
Been doing a lot to bring peace and unity to the people of Africa. So the visitation, 3 days visitation to the Sahel state, is just for security purpose, because there's a lot of terrorists that come through the Sahel routes, and that's the reason why the president of Chad, the president of Niger have been a lot of importance to people on the home ground in West Africa and in Africa, which we can see the prolific president of Ghana, president of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, is doing the same thing now to channel and put a lot of energy in terms of security, because there are a lot of terrorist groups that come through the Saharan route from North Africa straight down to West Africa, and they even live on this route. A lot have been happening. There's no war or no crisis that happened to any country in West Africa. It comes straight from the Saharan route. So a lot of people really know about this. So to see Ghana president going from one country to the other for 3 days, because it's a walking visit. It's not that he's there to have fun or he's there to try their meal or to live a fancy life. No, he's in there for peace and unity, for diplomacy means to walk around and put things in order as part of the people that be keeping law, peace and order in Africa for a long time. He's there for a 3 days walking visit. He's going to go throughout all these countries one after the other, from Guinea to Mali to Cote d'Ivoire, all the joint size state is going to go in there for the means of peace and unity, and for mainly for Africa economy, because African people need a lot of unity together. That's the reason why the prolific president of Ghana is going everywhere on the home ground in Africa. It's just for peace and unity. It's spreading the love, and a lot of people on the home ground in Africa really love this, because John Dramani Mahama is been there before. He had a lot of experience. He's part of the leader that they've been putting law and order down in Africa for a long time. So to see this coming from a Ghanaian president, and he just in power, it's not even too long, my people, but he's doing a great thing. He's been busting boundaries, taking interviews, talking out, speaking out, because he had huge experience about Africa and how things work on the home ground in Africa. He's been there for too long. He was a vice president before he became the president. Now he's a president again. So he had full understanding of how things works on the home ground in Africa. He knows what to do. He knows what to say at the right time. It's one of the elder statements that we have now in Africa that is keeping the peace on the home ground in Africa. And it's even telling all the diasporans, if you're a black child, if you African Americans, Africa diaspora, for you from the Caribbean, you from Europe, it's even telling everybody to come back down to Ghana. It's not even talking about only Ghana, it's talking about the whole of Africa. So he said he's not fighting for only Ghana, he's fighting for freedom, peace and unity in the whole of Africa. So the 3 days visitation is for security purpose, to keep peace and unity in West Africa, in Africa. And that's the reason why he went to the Saharan state, because ECOWAS have been speaking out, and the Saharan people have, and the people on the Saharan route, the president, their people have been saying enough is enough. We need peace on our route. We need peace in our country too, because there's peace on the other country downward, like Nigeria, like Ghana, like Togo, like Cote d'Ivoire, like Benin Republic. In West Africa, they be having fun, but the country that they are lying on the Saharan route, they've been facing difficulties. That's the reason why the president of the day, like President Traore, president of Mali, president of Guinea, Even Cote d'Ivoire, a lot of other presidents on the home ground in Africa, they've been joining the fight against terrorist attack, because we can see what is going on in Nigeria, the Boko Haram attack. They come through the Saharan route. If not the Saharan route, there's no other route. They can easily come down to Nigeria, because that's the route they passed through to Chad, to Niger, and they came straight to Nigeria. So my people on the platform today, just about unity, is about togetherness, about oneness. It's very good to see the African people working hand in hand, going from one place to the other, trying to bring peace and unity on the home ground in Africa. Because if this peace and unity straight come to the Saharan route and the Saharan country, the Sahel country, a lot of other countries downward will be peaceful too, like Nigeria, like Ghana. That's the reason why the present president of the day, John Dramani Mahama, is trying to set peace and unity on the home ground in Africa. So the 3 days visitation, so the 3 days working visitation is for peace and unity on the home ground in Africa and West Africa. So my people, I've become to another segment today. I'll be saying one Africa, one people, one unity, unity over division, my people. One love. Thank you. One love.